G'day YouTube fans, welcome, and today we'll be doing a review with Geelong and Sydney. What a horrible, horrible affair that was to watch. Don't think it'll get forgotten about very quickly, this game, and it's going to go down as one of the worst games played of all time, I would have thought. Don't say that lightly, but yeah, you got the two grand finalists coming against each other and barely scrape over 100 points with the supply and the shots that the teams both had. Geelong, yeah, very lucky to probably get a draw, I think. Should have probably been down by a lot more, and really the game should have been over at half time, and it wasn't. So, yeah, Sydney definitely got on their terms for a fair bit of the game, and, they were really... Yeah, they were really good, but we allowed them to be really good because you can make any team look solid if you don't defend or if you don't man up or try. But they clearly, missed a lot of opportunities, and especially in that, over the whole game, really. There was just some misses that you just go, it just can't keep happening, but it's definitely filtered throughout the team, and the whole team, felt it and got the yips. And we've seen players missing from 10 metres out, 15 metres out, unbelievably at times. Like, it was, as a Cats fan watching on, you're just going, how can they keep missing? Like, they're not going to keep missing, and they did. They put a few through, but they had 32 shots. They ended up with 6. But it feels like a loss. Honestly, it does feel like a loss. We got to draw our season, hanging on by a thread, and it still is, and it will be for the remainder of the season. Especially when you lose 7 games up until this point. And we're literally 50-50 and a little bit over 50-50. Got 30 points sitting inside the top 8, but there's going to be other teams that will jump us, I'm sure. Adelaide got North Melbourne, but really, the destiny's in our hands if we're good enough to make the finals, and we're going to have to be in some pretty good form to get there. But if we're playing like we are tonight, well, there won't be any finals to have to worry about. But that first half was pathetic, absolutely atrocious. Sydney just moving the ball at ease, hardly any pressure, red carpet stuff. It was very similar to 2021 when we led them back into the game. We just really easy ball movement, corridor football, giving them the best look, and uncontested marks inside 50 at will. It was just unbelievable. It took 16 marks inside 50 and a half. If you can see that for a whole game, that's pretty poor. 16 and a half is just mind-boggling. Lack of pressure from the forward line, letting it come out. We did lay 15 tackles somehow. I don't know how. But, our midfield, again, just not running and all congested in the one spot and only running one way at times. And, Sydney, just no pressure on the ball carrier. If it was against Collingwood or Port Adelaide, you lose that game by 12 goals easily. And it's just very lucky that we were up against a side that just didn't know how to win. And we didn't really know how to win either. And it was one of those games where you're just so frustrated watching on, just going, no one deserves to win here. And ultimately the result that eventuated was probably what both teams deserved, because they just could not find a way to break clear of the opposition. And it was a close game all night. And I will say early on, efficient up forward, but we kicked 3 goals in probably 3-4 minutes, and then kicked 4 goals for 115 minutes after that. It was just such a tough, scrappy affair. And I was just very disappointed, especially in that first half. We should have been probably 7 goals down at half time, and they didn't really put it on the scoreboard, as we know. And even late in the game, like, they had their chances, were 8 points up with 4 minutes to go. Just had to kick another point or a goal would have probably sealed it, and we just weren't able to find a way. Sydney playing like they're on crack or something like that. They tried really hard. We had a decent crack, but I was just really disappointed with the defenders laying out the red carpet for the forwards. Like, the ball kept going in. Sydney and GWS are another team that do it against us really well, and I don't know how more teams don't do it. A lot of teams tend to bomb it in long and high. Sydney and GWS in particular know they just have to lower the eyes because we prey on that high long ball so that we can intercept mark or we get spoiled out of bounds. But I don't know if that's coaching. I don't know if it's a player's miscommunication or just lack of wanting to man up. But gosh, the system broke down so badly. And yeah, we looked like second rate, like a VFL side against an AFL side. It was that stark. And yeah, I mean, I feel really frustrated, and we could have very easily lost this game by between 5 to 8 goals. But I almost feel more frustrated that, yeah, we've somehow not lost the game. It feels like one where we should have lost. We've split the points. I should be really thankful and really grateful that we hung in there, but also Sydney. It's because Sydney didn't make us pay, so it was off the back of Sydney's mistakes more than our good play. So that's the way the cookie crumbles, and yeah, like didn't really get. They should have won this game very convincingly, and they didn't. And yeah, it's pretty rare to sort of. It's just such a weird feeling. Don't know exactly how to feel. I'm very frustrated. I feel frustrated. I feel like when we shouldn't have been even in the game, we had a chance to take the 4 points and steal the 4 points effectively. To not completely lose all of them is definitely from the positions that we were in the game, not completely a terrible result. It would have been disastrous had we lost, but I don't know how Sydney fans would be feeling, and they would be beyond fuming, I would have thought, with the chance they did have 32 shots on goal, have kicked 6, and a lot out in the full, a few not making the distance. So our kicking, and I don't know if the SCG is just the worst ground of all time to play at, but the last 4 games there, and I remember another very frustrating game, I think it was 2018, we kicked 8 goals, 23, then 2021 would have been the next time probably. Yeah, 2021 we kicked 12 goals, 16. 2022 kicked 10 goals, 16, and now 7 goals, 12. So that leaves it to 37 goals, 68 the last 4 games at the SCG. So it is just somehow impossible to kick straight there. I don't know what it is, but if my math is correct, 37 goals, 68 in the last 4 games there, and I think we've won 1.5 out of those 4. So, look, I'm proud that we didn't have the scoreboard get out of control, and we fought hard and we fought back in that second half. I was really disappointed in our first half. The second half, we kept them to 4 marks inside 50, and we got the game on our terms a little bit in that third term. We didn't get enough bang for buck on the scoreboard. Umpiring was all over the shop. Paddy should have got 50, didn't get 50, and then called a play on. Don't know if he went over the 30 seconds. Should have been front on Isaac Smith late in the game, and that wasn't paid. And yeah, I won't go into umpiring decisions and talk about that, but I did feel like, yeah, there was some chances and gone begging there and some interesting bits and pieces, but yeah. Anyway, let's look at the numbers. Oh, so frustrating. It was just so difficult to watch and stressful. I feel for anyone that had to watch that game. No one, I can't recall a game where you watch it and you just go, no one's benefit out of this. Sydney feel worse off for having not won a game they should have won. Geelong in a somewhat of a winning position that should never have happened. And then the fans to see a drawn game kicking 108 points in what was just a game full of mistakes and, yeah, calamity of errors. Just, yeah, awful for football. And, yeah, Winter's kicking in big time, isn't it? Another thing, too, I was, very frustrated about. Hopefully it comes to mind. But, yeah, just the overuse of handball. Like, Sydney have been pressuring us like absolute, like they are dog hungry. Like, their season's right on the line, as is Geelong's. You wouldn't have known with the way we're playing. We're just coasting along like it's a I don't know, it's a game in round 5 and nothing really matters. But yeah, like Sydney were just dog hungry, and they did not let us out very much at all. So yeah, that was again, frustrating's been the key word tonight. But yeah, overuse the handball, inviting the pressure. It's like, just territory got you the win last week. Just go back to basics. You're not playing well. You've got a lot of teammates not playing well. Just do the basics. Try and at least do the basics. And we just kept handballing it back, and it was just like, oh, God. Makes me want to smash my desk at the moment. Just absolutely belt it. But anyway, minus 54 with the ball. Yeah, I don't know what a Sydney review would be like. It'd just be throwing your laptop in the ocean, honestly, with the frustration. I'm just so annoyed with the the result, and we should have been in a position where we could have kicked a point, or a point would have been enough. Honestly, 8 points up to get to 9 points with what Sydney did, or a goal. Like, we could not have possibly thought hanging on was going to do it. It had that 2005 semi-final feel about it. Felt horrible, felt awful. Thankfully, no Tom Papley heroics, although I don't think anyone actually realised that it was all by himself. Duncan sort of hung around and then just kind of let him go, trying to win the game. Ourselves, maybe. Who knows? Anyway, that's how the game panned out. Geelong found a way not to lose, and Sydney found a way not to win. Plus 54 disposals. Might keep our season alive. Who knows? Who knows? Yep, we have to improve out of sight to get anywhere near being a finals team, because we're not playing very good footy at the moment. 50 inside 50s each. A lot of ball played between the arcs. Felt like Sydney had more than 50 inside 50s. They probably had the best look of inside 50s. We can see they had 55% of efficiency inside 50. We weren't as efficient going inside 50 as we can see. They used the ball a bit better than us. It helps when you don't apply pressure, and it helps when you apply pressure to Geelong, it's always the way. It's Geelong aren't applying that much pressure to the opposition, but then the opposition is working harder than us. That was another thing too that I noticed, there was just constantly Sydney players, and they're constantly letting them run from one end to the other. Like, the moment they kicked a point, I was like, gosh, they're just going to run this down to the other end, and we've got no plan to do anything about it. It kept happening over and over again. It's just so obvious watching on. It's like, how can you not see this? How can you not have a plan in place? How can you not change this in game? I'm finding a million things wrong, but the only good thing to take out of it, I think, is the inside 50 tackles. And maybe no injuries. We'll see. We'll talk about some players and probably more MRO controversy, which I'll delve into soon. But I'll keep finding new and different things that I've seen in the game. I think it'll be pretty comprehensive by the time this gets done. Clearances were even. Sending clearances, we generally do slightly better there. Contested ball, we're able to do okay there. But on the outside, I think that's 76, minus 76 on the outside. Not good. Turnovers more. Let Sydney market like madness. Marks inside 50 is just about as bad as you can be. Missed Jeremy Cameron tonight, for sure. Thankfully, we just didn't lose and got points. Didn't lose points. Whatever. Contested marks 12-3, so I normally go with won the aerial battle, but I look at this, and with the way Sydney marked the ball, they didn't have to take big contested marks because we were so lazy. We didn't actually man them up, so they didn't have to take contested marks, and we did because Sydney were manning us up. So that's an interesting little number, that one. We had to work harder for our marks, is how I read that, not aerial dominance. 7 goals to 6. It's just extraordinary to think Sydney kicked 6 goals and they looked so dangerous all night and missed so many chances. Tackles, that's a bit that's just very, very frustrating. Take a shot every time I say frustrating, you'll be gone in a couple of minutes. Plus 17 tackles, and they had 50 more disposals. Like, that is just absolutely inept. No other words to describe it. Don't know how we got 15 tackles inside 50. We had it in there a little bit. We kept it in there a little bit. Largely, they just walked it out. 1%ers makes sense. We didn't put our body on the line as much as they did. Oh, it has to be one of the all-time unusual results. The stats just say a Sydney win by 7, 8 goals, and it's a draw. Yeah. Fair income, unbelievable. Oh, my voice is dying here. Okay, the votes. Let's go through. Yes, the votes. Very interesting indeed. I'll go with Tom Atkins for the 3 votes. He had the 18 disposals, 11 tackles. That was huge. 6 clearances, and there's a lot of numbers there that don't really count, where he just hunts the ball and he gets tackled straight away. He just worked so hard, and yeah, he was brilliant around the ball, and yeah, just loved. He played with just pure heart and just wanted to just win, and did everything he could. So I thought, yeah, he tried the hardest out of everyone. Ended up with 18. Not an all-time great game, but yeah, by golly, that work rate's hard. 11 tackles as well, which we love that defensive side of it. The 2 votes. 2 votes. I'll go Brian Myers for the 2 votes. He kicked a goal. He had 27. Lots of the footy. Might be a career high for him. We'll have to check that. 3 marks, couple of tackles in there, 20 kicks, which we like as well. 3 clearances and 3 goal assists, almost 500 metres gained. So, yeah, he was definitely a big reason we're in the game. Led to 4 goals, 4 of our 6 goals, 7 goals, sorry. 7 goals, 12 for the Cats. Potentially could have got the 3 votes. I just thought Atkins was just inspirational. And Grime was clean for most of the night. Had a couple of turnovers. He's not going to hit all of those kicks, but yeah, again, for a guy that's kicked a goal himself and set up 3 others, he's set up most of a good chunk of our score. So that's at least 24 points, and that's not including potential scoring involvements that I'm not accounting for here. And the 1 vote for Blitzarves, I really liked his game. He kicked 1 goal, 1, had 16, took a few marks, 7 tackles, and yeah, he was just a beast in the midfield. He got 7 clearances as well. I thought, yeah, he was really tough. And again, you see the numbers here and they don't look amazing, but when you watch on and see all the hard work they do inside the contests they get to, the things that they have and the little 1%ers that they do, it makes all the difference. And so that's who I sort of, viewed in terms of votes. I won't go through every player, but yeah, I thought Stewart was relatively solid down back, got a bit of the ball at 25. Tui racked up 28. Duncan looks a little bit slow. Hawkins was okay, kicked a couple. Isaac Smith, I think, played the worst game of his career. He does not pressure. I don't know what he was doing. He made some funny old decisions, and he wasn't that great with the ball. I think Bruin Try went in and out of the game. Stanley got a bit of the ball. Hickey was handy. Stengel kicked a handy goal in the first term. We need a big lift from Stengel, and again, we're probably not getting great supply, but we need more from him. And we need him to kick 3. We can't just have him kicking 1s for the rest of the year. He has to hit the scoreboard more regularly. I know he had the injury, and I know that's very disruptive, but we need more from him, and we need more spark up forward as well. Henry was really good with his hands, I felt. DK was okay, I guess. Kolajasny was solid. Holmes, what was he doing? 8 touches in the midfield, played 75% game time. He couldn't get near it, and then he couldn't really impact either. Apparently had 6 tackles. I really like Close's game. He got a fair bit of the pill. I'll talk about Close and Stewart in a moment. Dangerfield had a crack, but didn't get much of the ball. Henry kicks a couple, always finds a way to kick 2. Rowan, probably back to normal Gary. Set up a goal. Not a lot of pressure. Very much out of the game. And was probably another reason why we didn't win. Radicalier, he was all over the place. I don't think he's learned how to defend, or don't know what he was doing. He's glad he got subbed out, but he was woeful. Supply, the midfield pressure wasn't great, but he was just, inept down back. The first time they've all played together, I don't think they can all fit in the same team. Henry, De Koning, Radagalier. It's college as there's too many tall defenders, and you can't have that. Booze doesn't really touch it much. Bo's supped on late, had a few touches. There's lots of talk about Close and Stewart with their respective tackles. I suspect I'd be shocked if they didn't get a week, to be honest, and I don't think it's right. I don't think it's in the spirit of the game to be given weeks for that. We just have to figure out a middle ground for this. It can't just be a suspension for players, brushing their head on the ground, or their head hitting the ground. Players are going to miss grand finals out of this, and it's going to be an absolute uproar. There's going to be stars that miss grand finals out of this. And it's all because the AFL has just gone with the harshest crackdown of all time you've ever seen, off the back of administrators that have no idea how the game's actually played, but they're just making it purely to cover their backs, with potential fines that come from the future from concussion and the likes. I'm very scared for where the game could end up, and it's a contact sport, and accidents happen and tackles happen. The umpires aren't holding the ball or ball it up quick enough. That's why players keep going through with the tackle, and then players that are being tackled are exploiting this rule by getting their head hit to the ground to draw a free kick. It's in absolute shambles at the moment. If I don't fix it right this second, this is going to cost a player a grand final spot, or players. We're going to see superstars miss a grand final because of this trash crackdown out of nowhere. So I suspect Stewart and Close will get weeks, likely one. I don't agree with it. We're playing North. I don't know what that means, but yeah, it's... People go, oh yeah, no, it's only, we've only got so and so next week, but it doesn't matter. They're not changing this crackdown, and until it changes, we're going to see players miss qualifying finals, semi-finals, preliminary final, and grand finals out of this, and it's compromising the season. And the AFL just does not care. Does not care about the integrity of the game, and never has and never will. Have I been fired up or what? Watch Geelong play badly and watch what I say. We've got North Melbourne next week at GMHBA. I suspect if we play anywhere near our best and play 100 times better than tonight, we should win reasonably well. North have definitely been better. Clarko might be back soon, so I don't know if that gives them a second kick. Don't know what happens as a result of that, but better be on our game. Better not let North walk in with easy goals and not have all these easy uncontested marks that teams are just carving us up at the moment. So, yeah, shouldn't lose. Shouldn't lose. We've got the Bombers the week after, but... Oh, man. It's an emotional game. It takes you to places you never thought you'd be, but anyway... The Cats didn't lose. The Swans didn't win. Both teams take 2 points. The Cats sit inside the top 8 for right this second. Crows will overtake them. The Suns could. The Dockers could. Sydney won't. Richmond won't for the minute. But yeah, makes our percentage rather inconsequential. But you never know. Other teams around you can draw as well. As we can see, Richmond had a draw. You just hope we play better next week. Anyway, that's it from me, guys. Oh, a couple of hours I'll never get back. Nor neutral fans watching that. But yeah, I'm exhausted and fed up with the AFL and their crackdown on these tackles. You go, you talk about it with Close and Stewart, but... I've been frustrated this whole time. I clearly review Geelong games. I don't review every other game, but I'm very strongly against the crackdown. I understand we've got to be better with concussion. I understand the AFL got to do stuff about it, but it just can't be. It just can't be this black and white. There's got to be room for accidents. There's got to be room for completing football actions. I can understand suspensions for non-football actions, but you're taking away the tackle, and that's taking away the fabric of the game. Anyway, may the Lord be with you all. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like the video. I'll see you guys next time.